Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this presentation. My name is JP Mercy. I'm a Director of Marketing here at Sherweb, and I'll just be doing a few housekeeping items before we get to the main content, the reason why you're here today. So just a few things I wanted to point out. First is that we will be sending the recording of this session early next week, so you'll have it in your emails probably Monday or Tuesday. The other thing to know is that we will have a Q&A at the end of the presentation, so feel free to send your questions in the chat or question box, and I'll make sure that Asha and Ronald can answer them when we get to that moment. And that's pretty much what I have for you today. The real stars of the show are ready to share with you the content that we've prepared for you today. So, Asha, Ronald, I'm giving you the microphone.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate the quick intro there. So first, welcome everybody, and thanks for taking the time out of your day today to join this webinar. I'd like to start it off by wishing everybody a happy holiday season. I hope you're able to spend some time with your family and friends as we wrap up 2023. Today, we're excited to provide you with some updates on Windows SQL Server and 2012 end of life. And we've had a tremendous amount of conversations with both our partners and Microsoft over the last few months, and we'd like to shed some light on a path forward today. So, Ron Farrar, I'm the Business Development Manager here at Microsoft for Azure, or at Sherweb for Azure. I am a partner-facing resource, and my role is to provide our partners with guidance and internal resources to help you build a successful practice. Also with us today is Rasha. Rasha is the Programs and Enablement Manager for Sherweb here and Azure. Rasha's role is to work with our existing partners. She helps provide guidance on programs, incentives, as well as provides updates and changes related to Microsoft, specifically Azure. Go ahead and next screen, please, Rasha.
Thanks, Ron.
You're welcome. So introductions, you can keep going one more. All right, so agenda, what we're going to get into today. You can go ahead one more, Rasha. Okay, so what is Windows and SQL Server end of support, and what does it mean for me or you as the partner? We're going to cover quickly options and considerations, and then we're going to provide some resources and next steps for you. All right, so as we always do, we're going to start with a quick introduction on who is Sherweb for those who don't know. We've been around since 1998. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary this year. I'd say that we are young, we are growing, and we are making a serious impact in both the Canadian and US markets with a tremendous amount of support from Microsoft. All right, we are currently growing at a steady pace and have over 7,000 partners across North America and Europe. We are now more than 1,400 employees strong all over the map, and we continue to bring in top talent across North America. We've now reached over 100,000 end customers, and that are being managed by our 7,000 plus partners across North America. So congratulations to all of you who have helped Sherweb reach those goals, and thank you in advance for those who will continue to help us reach the new milestones to come. Go ahead. Next slide. All right, so we are an extension of your team. So this is just a quick visual on the teams available here at Sherweb and where you as a partner fall into the lineup. So if you look at the left-hand side, you're going to see our technical support, our technical account managers, and our billing teams. These are the groups, or at least technical support is available for you 24/7 to help you troubleshoot your specific issues. Our account managers, our technical account managers, are next level for escalations. They can dig a bit deeper into these tougher issues that you face with your customers. And then, of course, the billing specialist who can assist you with all your billing issues. In the middle, you'll find yourself, the partner, directly working with our account managers and our account executives. These are your first go-to contacts to help you with all of your solutions. In this particular scenario, you'd be talking to them about Azure, and then to the right of them is the separate groups of subject matter experts that we have available for you. Each category that are available is to help drive business, right? So we have our marketing experts, we've got our pre-sale solution experts, we've got our sales and operations experts, and so on and so forth. Go ahead to the next slide, Rasha. All right, so this slide goes into some of our offerings here at Sherweb, and you may have caught this in the previous slide, you may not have, but one of the things that I'd like to point out underneath that Sherweb logo is we are a marketplace, but we are more than a marketplace. We have a portfolio of cloud products delivered through a robust platform. We have a range of services designed for MSPs to offload and extend technical operations and expertise, and we offer a personalized experience delivered by our experts with the common goal of helping our MSPs achieve more. So again, we are a marketplace, but we are more than a marketplace. Go ahead to the next slide. So as part of our value add and those subject matter experts that we have specific to you, this is our Sherweb Azure Sales and Enablement team. As I had introduced Rasha, she is our Microsoft Programs and Azure Enablement Manager. You have myself, who is the Business Development Manager. We have Neil and Christian, who are our pre-sales cloud architects. Go ahead, Rasha. Next slide. Okay, so the reason we're here today, Windows and SQL Server has reached end of support. What does that mean for you? Go ahead to the next slide. All right, so while new innovations keep lighting up the latest releases of SQL Server and Windows Server, support for older versions along with the security updates will eventually end. This can lead to the potential for compliance gaps, for workloads that still rely on versions that create missed opportunities to apply to innovation to business critical workloads. Fortunately, you can stay secure and modernize your IT estate with Microsoft on your terms, okay? After the end of support date, Windows Server 2012 R2 workloads will be vulnerable as they will no longer receive regular security updates. And here are some of the dates shown on this page to keep in mind. So you'll see highlighted in red, October 10th, 2023. That was the most recent date where Windows Server 2012 reached end of support. And the reason that we're here today, because we'd like to talk about some of the options available to you going forward. Go ahead to the next slide, Rasha. So what does this mean for you and your customers? End of support means Microsoft will no longer release updates and provide support. That means no security patches or bug fixes past this date. That's the date that was in red on the previous slide. There is now risk associated with using unsupported software, all right? This includes security vulnerabilities, non-compliance, performance and reliability issues, limited support options, software compatibility, increased maintenance cost, missed features and functionality, lack of vendor support, and difficulty recruiting talent, reduced business agility. All right, one of the things you'll see labeled on this page in that bullet point is end of mainstream support. What does end of mainstream support mean? That means that security updates and some bug fixes will still be provided, but generally no new feature will be added to the software. Below that, you're going to also see end of extended support. What does that mean? This means that no updates, even security updates, will be provided unless your paid support contract is purchased. The amount of times that a Windows version remains supported depends on a number of factors, but for professional and server editions of Windows, support usually continues for 5 to 7 years from the original release date. For Windows 10 semi-annual channel releases, support will continue for 18 months from the release date, except for the fall release of Enterprise and Education editions, which will continue for 30 months. So when you're looking at this page, lifecycle phases for products under the fixed lifecycle, you can quickly take a look there and see the mainstream support, the extended support, and the beyond end of support options for you. Go ahead to the next slide. So why modernize with Microsoft? So at the heart of your IT estate lies strategic investments you have in business critical workloads like Windows Server and SQL Server that are and have been the foundation of many organizations for the past 30 years. So been along for quite some time now. This continues to be a massive opportunity with millions of instances running on-prem. So 90% plus of SQL servers run on Windows and 75% plus Windows Server run on VMware. This provides a massive overlap to drive a single conversation for migration of both workloads. lead with Migrate to innovate approach. Migration to Azure is a secure and optimized foundation for customers to be AI ready. In addition to innovation, Azure offers security and compliance with Microsoft Defender for Cloud for comprehensive and unified security across multi-cloud and on-prem environments. All right, so I've given you the highlights of what's happening and some of the advantages there. I'm now going to invite Rasha to take over and dig a bit deeper into what options you have available to you.
Thank you, Ron. Now, traditionally, whenever we have an end of life or end of service that is announced, the logical thing to happen is for customers to plan an upgrade from their on-prem servers to another on-prem server, which is on the latest or a later version. Like in the case of Windows and SQL servers, we will be upgrading to 2016 onwards to 2022. However, we need to ask ourselves, we need to ask our customers whether this option is the best option for them to move forward with, whether they have a better cost-effective option that would answer their needs and requirements, and how they can optimize on both costs and benefits. And this is the reason we're here today, to explore the different options that would answer these questions and allow you to better choose a solution that fits your and your customers' needs. Now, we know that organizations often heavily weigh the best path to modernization with many factors to consider. We have different options to protect our Windows servers and SQL servers today. And as I've explained, exploring the different options we have, you can either remain protected by modernizing to a platform as a service offering, or you can upgrade to the latest version in Azure. If not, you can migrate to Azure for free extended security updates up to 3 years from the end of service announcement, or you can purchase extended security updates when you enable Azure Arc to remain protected on-prem and in multi-cloud environments with a flexible billing model. As you can see with all of these options, Azure meets you where you are in your journey, and you can take it easy and plan your migrations according to your needs. Now, the first option is to migrate to a newer version on Azure, which is the SQL Server 2022 or the Windows Server 2022. You can now elect to move your legacy applications and databases to a fully supported, compatible, and compliant operating system. On Azure, you can also choose 2016 or 2019, if not 2022, when you are upgrading. The other option is to modernize your SQL servers to a platform as a service offering, just like I mentioned, with SQL database and SQL managed instances, which provide actually in Microsoft a fully managed and scalable and cloud-based relational databases based on the SQL Server engine, which will offer you automatic patching, backups, and built-in high availability. In this option, you will not be managing the operating system. Microsoft will be managing the operating system, all of the patching and everything related to it. Now, as I've explained, since you are migrating to innovate in this case, you will get unparalleled innovation with these SQL Server options, and you will get security, governance, reduced latency, and most importantly, you will be staying up to date. You won't care about end of services, end of lives, and extended security updates. You can leverage Azure and cloud skills to your customers with these options. You can innovate anywhere with consistent development, with operations and security as well. Now, in order for you to be able to do this in a fast manner and most cost-effective one, Microsoft offers a free tool, which is the Azure Migrate tool. This tool provides technical insights into workloads and cost estimates for your on-prem environments, even multi-cloud ones, for moving to Azure. This way, you can enhance security and optimize operations once in the cloud, and this would be your first step to Azure. Now, today, Azure Migrate supports in-place upgrades for Windows Server 2012 and later versions during the move to Azure, meaning that you can upgrade your operating system version while migrating to Azure. This will allow you to avoid downtime by first upgrading to a test environment in Azure if you choose to, and running production workloads in parallel to confirm functionality and compatibility before fully moving to Azure. So as you can see, Azure Migrate is flexible, and it allows you to choose which path you want to move forward with whether migrating then upgrading, or upgrading then migrating, or upgrading while migrating, all of which will fit your needs based on the main business needs and the technical needs as well that would govern the environment you're working with. With Azure Migrate, you can start with discovering and assessing your on-prem resources. You can then plan to move your technical and business insights into infrastructure, databases, or applications, and you can migrate in phases until you can modernize for a higher return on investment, while tracking and managing your cloud migration progress with a central dashboard with ease of management, of course. Now, this specific option will allow you to avoid the end of support and accomplish your modernization and migration in one motion. But this doesn't necessarily mean it's the right option for you. If you can't upgrade or modernize, the other option would be to, based on different business needs and based on different business priorities, maybe related also to technical matters related to the applications hosted on these services or applications integrated with them as well, you might not be able to move with the first option. So Microsoft is offering you the option to migrate your resources, your servers, to Azure, keep them on 2012 for now, and you can get extended security updates with the subscription-based licenses up to 3 years, depending on when the end of service was announced. For example, with the SQL Server, the end of service was announced in July 2022. You can count 3 years as of then. And with Windows, October 2023, and you can count 3 years as of then. Now, you can also, after getting not only you can get the extended security updates, you can also combine them to save more with Azure Hybrid Benefit if you have software assurance on your licenses. So you're bringing your on-prem, your multi-cloud licenses to Azure for free. And you can, of course, save with the reserved instances if you know that you'll be going above a specific threshold with using these virtual machines and services as well. And this way, you will remain protected and have the time to migrate and modernize your workloads at your own pace. What if you can't move to Azure at all right now, based on different needs as well as I've explained? And because we understand that companies do not want to make big investments in artificial intelligence and machine learning initiatives too soon if they don't have the right bandwidth, guardrails, or necessary performance in place to support it. So if moving to Azure is not an option, the customers can still stay protected in on-premises and multi-cloud environments with extended security updates enabled by Azure Arc specifically. Now, we've talked and mentioned Azure Arc several times before in the previous webinar as well. And just a reminder here, Azure Arc will enable you not only to purchase extended security updates to stay protected, obviously, but it will also allow you to have flexibility with a monthly billing model for these extended security updates. Because if you are willing, and this is the right thing to do, to migrate and upgrade later on, you might not need the full extended security updates for a full year. So why pay for it for a full year while you can pay for it on a monthly basis and stop the billing once you move completely? Azure Arc specifically isn't introduced to save on this matter. It's more of a technical benefit to govern and manage your different resources that are available in a multi-cloud environment, in a hybrid environment, and on-prem, to have a unified and centralized way to manage your entire environment, including Windows and SQL servers, virtual machines, Kubernetes clusters, and others. All of the resources that are available and hosted outside of Azure will be connected to Azure. Once they become connected machines, they will be treated as Azure resources and get the exact same management and security features that you get on Azure. The flexibility and the extended security updates are just an additional layer of benefits that you get. And you will get these extended security updates until you need them or you stop needing them. So this is the first benefit with the flexible billing and savings. Until you can modernize, you also have centralized cost management. You can see your consumption in one place. You have greater visibility across all of the environment, and you can see where do you need extended security updates, where do you have gaps, and even security gaps. You can organize your inventory and assets and gain visibility on reporting as well as your Azure infrastructure. with a keyless delivery. You don't need the key. You just deploy the Azure Arc agent, and you also have the security and compliance with seamless and automated patching from cloud to edge, and you can thus stay compliant with supported software. Now, to get the Azure Arc Extended Security update specifically, you either have to have software assurance on your licenses or move to a subscription-based license, specifically SQL license. With Azure Arc, you can purchase Azure SQL Server Standard or Enterprise licenses for your on-prem servers. This way, you will both get the extended security updates, and you will be saving with a proration based on consumption. It's going to be a consumption-based model. You can also have license included services purchased from SPLA providers. In all cases, once you purchase the extended security updates, you will be back billed from the end of service date. As Ron mentioned, the end of service date for Windows Server was October 10th, 2023. At any point you get the extended security updates, you're going to have to pay since as of October. For the SQL Server, though, you have already 1 year, over a year that has passed. So the recommendation would be to purchase from the volume licensing 1 year extended security updates, and then the monthly licenses or monthly extended security updates through Azure Arc until you can modernize and migrate your servers. Just a small reminder here, just like Ron mentioned, the extended security updates are very important for you to stay protected. It's going to provide you centralized management of security patching, extended security updates enabled with pay-as-you-go subscription model. And again, I just want to highlight the fact that you need the software assurance if you don't have a SPLA or a subscription-based license. Now, what's next? We have presented you with the available options, but how can you move forward with any of these options? These would be qualifying, identifying questions to identify opportunities with your customer base. You would be asking yourself and them about their immediate business need, about their compelling driver to move to Azure, and how hard is it? What would be the easiest path for them to start with Azure and their longer-term business goals? These questions might not be easy to answer or very trivial to answer, but we are here to support you with them. These would be most probably opening questions, opening conversations with partners and with customers specifically, while you highlighted the different benefits that would be available to them if they move to Azure or when they start their journey with Azure specifically. And from there, I would like to highlight how Sherweb can help. Ron has started with an introduction around Sherweb, an introduction about the Azure team, but I would like to highlight this further. We help you with identifying the different estimations and how to optimize your cost and savings on Azure. We help support you to build and practice your Azure strategy, your Azure practice in general. And we help you identify opportunities, tackle and address these opportunities the right way, and make money, obviously, out of it. With building this practice, we would want you to get designations. We would want you to get specialized to optimize and maximize on your incentives and the different benefits and credits you can get, not only technical benefits, obviously financial benefits as well, with Azure Migrate and Modernize program. And until you get there, we can help you leverage different incentives that are available with Microsoft through Sherweb specifically. And until you can get the expertise to do the professional services yourselves, we have a professional services team that can help you do this, that can act as your team, an extension of your team, until you become specialized or at least expert in the subjects that you would be covering, specifically the migration subject here, and become an Azure MSP. Last but not least, these would be important resources that we would want to share with you. And among all of these, I would like to highlight the technical resources around how you can configure the Azure Arc enabled SQL servers and how you can take advantage of this important feature recently announced by Microsoft. And if you're not a partner, it's time for you to become one. We're here ready for any questions you have.
Thank you, Rasha. Thank you, Ron. There's no question for now. So while we wait maybe a minute to see if anyone has any question, I will just point out that the deck will also be part of the email with the recording sent next week. So all of those resources that Rasha just talked about, you will have the links in the presentation. So yeah, last call for questions. We'll give you a few seconds if you do have a question. Otherwise, as you know, your account managers are always available also to get your questions, and they will make sure that if we need to have a resource from the team join on a call or in the email thread to help you answer those questions, we will get the right resources to help you.
Definitely.
So we
Thank you, Jake.
do have one question that came in. So how can we talk about the economic difference of on-premise and cloud services?
Do you want to take that one?
I can.
JP, can you repeat that one more time? How can we talk about the economic differences of
on-premise database versus cloud services? So from moving from the on-prem to Azure.
Yeah, so this is a TCO conversation. This is a total cost of ownership versus what a cloud solution can provide. I don't think there's an easy answer to that. That's a pretty we'll say generalized question that we can dig pretty deep into. I would love for whoever asked that question, that is a great question, to reach out to your account manager. Let's set up a conversation and let's talk about the value of cloud over an on-prem solution, what that looks like from our perspective, and how you can have that conversation with your end customer and have value behind that conversation.
We can definitely explore, if you have a scenario and a project in hand, we can definitely explore the Azure Calculator tool, and we can make the comparison in a more concrete way as well.
Yeah, and cloud doesn't always look better immediately or upfront, but once we start looking at the big picture, what the business needs are, what the specific applications and what that looks like when we move it over, we can build a case around it, and we can pretty quickly show you the value of a cloud solution over an on-prem solution and what that means. So I would love to put a business plan behind whoever asked that question and go over some of those particular scenarios with you.
Great. So I'll thank you, both of you. I'll make sure also that we connect with the person who asked the question to dig further into this. Another question that just came up is from a security perspective, which is more secure, an on-prem server or a cloud solution?
That's a great question as well. And we're going to go Azure every time, and we're going to say the cloud solution has built-in security, everything up until the point at which connects into the Microsoft environment. Everything from that point forward is extremely secure, and I would say cloud every time on that question.
We can revisit the responsibility shared model. I mean, everywhere you go, you can jeopardize the security if you don't have the password protected, if you don't have multi-factor authentication, the right admin rights in place in your Azure portal. But at the end of the day, from an infrastructure perspective, the cloud is much more secure.
Yeah. And we can have that conversation as well, and we can talk specifically about best practices that come into play as far as what Rasha had mentioned, the partner's responsibility versus Microsoft's responsibility to ensure that cloud environment is protected, same as you would want to protect your on-prem environment.
Sounds like we have a subject.
I love the questions. These are deep questions. These need more attention, and I'd love to have those conversations one-on-one.
Yeah, I was going to say we seem to have a subject for an upcoming webinar: how to make sure you have the right security practice for your Azure environment.
It's an
that's a hot topic lately. That is. Sorry, Rasha, go ahead.
I was just saying that it's an ongoing subject that we keep covering everyone because it's always a hot topic. There are always updates regarding that, and it's always a concern for everyone.
So that's it for the question. That's the two questions we had. So I guess from there we can wrap up. I don't know if you guys had any last words.
Reach out to us for any questions or assistance.
Yeah, nothing is straightforward, and this isn't always the platform for everybody to jump in and ask a question. I do love the 2 questions that were posed. I think we can build an entire conversation, like I said, around that. Feel free to get a hold of your account managers, reach out, schedule time with the team. We've got experts in every category and resources that are endless that are available to you just for being a partner of Sherweb. And we really want to add some value around your business. And as Rash had stated earlier, work as an extension of your team. So do not hesitate to reach out. I know that we quickly flew through information. Webinars aren't always clear to everybody on the information covered. They're generalized, they're not specific to any scenario. We would love to have specific conversations about what you are dealing with and how we can add value to that for you.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was informative. And well, as Ron just said, please do reach out for any specific scenario. We'll be happy to help.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great holiday. Look forward to having conversations.